Welcome to the Configure Host Profiles module. Notice that AllTouchTE is the name of the Zebra Technologies solution for the Velocity solution sourced through Wavelink. So even though you see Velocity on the screen, this is the AllTouchTE solution sold through Zebra. Click on the Next button to continue. A host profile defines the settings that the AllTouchTE client should use when it attempts to initiate a connection with a specific host. The host profile must include the emulation type, IP address of the host, and the host port. You may configure an unlimited number of host profiles for a smart device, but only one host profile is allowed per project using the AllTouchTE console. When a device user attempts to initiate a session with a host, the AllTouchTE client displays a list of available host profiles. The user selects the host he wants to connect to, and the AllTouchTE client uses the host profile settings to connect to the host. Depending on the emulation type, different options are available when configuring a host profile. In this module, we will discuss the basic configuration settings, the license server configuration, security and data encryption, Connect Pro settings for session persistence, and then we will talk about the scanner settings. When a device user executes the AllTouchTE client, the initial client window displays a list of available host profiles. The user selects the host he wants to connect with, and the AllTouchTE client uses the host profile settings to connect to the defined host. One way to create a host profile is through the AllTouchTE console. Each AllTouchTE project built in the console contains one and only one host profile. When an AllTouchTE project is created, the initial screen the builder of the project sees is the host profile screen. It can also be reached by clicking on Hosts for the AllTouchTE console menu. The key to the record stored for the host profile is the profile name. When creating a host profile, the first step is to give the profile a name. For this training, we will use the host profile name of Acme Cross Docking. Before you can make a connection with an AllTouchTE client, at a minimum, you must know the host IP address, the host port, and the host emulation type. These are considered the basic configuration options when creating a new host profile. The host address is the address of a host system or an intermediate gateway managing connections to the host system. AllTouchTE must know where to connect, so at this point, enter the host name or numeric IP address of where you want the client to connect. The host port is the TCP port number on which the host system is listening for emulation requests from the AllTouchTE client. By default, the port is set to 23. When Use SSH or Use SSH Tunnel is selected, the default port is changed to 22. For this connection, the port was left at the default port, 23. The host emulation type is the type of session required to connect to your host. Your choices are 3270, 5350, VT220, or Xterm. You can only select one host type per session, and the connection configuration options may change dynamically depending upon the host type selected. To select a host emulation type, there is a drop-down menu. From that menu, all emulation types will be available for selection. For this connection, the emulation type needed is VT220. Once selected from the menu, the new emulation type is placed into the host emulation type field. The next basic configuration setting is Default Safe Mode. To understand this option, you must understand Safe Mode versus Smart Mode. Safe Mode in AllTouchTE utilizes the traditional black and green screen common to terminal emulation applications. While in safe mode, AllTouchTE's ability to render pages in HTML is deactivated, and you navigate through the screens using keystrokes. Smart mode utilizes AllTouchTE's built-in HTML reader to use a theme created in the AllTouchTE console and present screens with updated screen layouts and styles. The default safe mode toggle is how the user is able to swap between the two modes. The default value is default safe mode set to no. Therefore, smart mode is also considered the default. All screens in this project will run in smart mode unless otherwise changed at the screen level in the project. If you want to run in traditional black and green screen mode, change default safe mode to yes. The auto carriage return toggle works this way. By default, it is set to yes. When auto carriage return is set to yes and a user taps a menu item, an enter return key character is appended onto the menu selection. When auto carriage return is set equal to no and the user taps the menu built by the host profile project loaded into the AllTouchTE client, no carriage return will be added to the input. In most cases, the carriage return is needed. Therefore, a setting of auto carriage return equals yes is the desired setting as well as the default setting. The screen rotation setting specifies the screen orientations that are supported for the project. The possible values available in the menu are Lock Portrait, which keeps the screen locked in a vertical position, Lock Landscape, which keeps the screen in a horizontal position, or Dynamic, which uses the orientation that is the best fit based on the angle of the device. This can be helpful for applications built for only one orientation. The default value is dynamic. AllTouchTE can hijack some keys and remap them to perform different functions on the smart device. First, let's look at the Android hardware back button. If you want to change the function of this button, all you need to do is edit the configuration called Hardware Back Button Key. To change the key to return a tabbed character, you use the emulation scan code hex code 0009 in the Hardware Back Button Key field. When that button is pressed, the defined key code is sent to the host. The menu up key and the menu down key are configured and function exactly the same as the configuration of the hardware back button. The menu up and menu down buttons are software buttons that are placed to the right and left of the keyboard icon. They will only show up if the screen is found to be a menu or if there is scrolling needed to see the whole screen. Please note that if any of the button configurations are left blank, those keys will do nothing during the execution of the host application. The Client License Server is an application that provides licenses to ruggedized and smart devices that are using Wavelink's terminal emulation, industrial browser, or AllTouchTE clients. The licenses are stored on a central or reachable PC, and therefore can be automatically distributed to any device client sends out a request. The application is a free software download from the Wavelink download website, and multiple license servers are valid on an enterprise network. The centralized depository of licenses allows for automation of the licensing process and helps stop the duplication of licenses that can happen in the manual licensing environment. The authorization section allows for the AllTouchTE client to be configured to access the license server. There are 3 configurations that must be set. License server address tells the device where to find the license server. Enter the IP address of the license server host. If the address is not specified, the client will actively send out a broadcast to try to find the server. The license server port is the port the license server is listening for client requests. The default port at license server install time is 1820, is 1820. This field cannot be set until a license server address is specified. The license server site ID is used if the client needs to be pointed to a certain license server on the corporate network. It can be left at 0 if only one license server exists. Secure Shell, or SSH, is a cryptographic or encrypted network protocol for initiating telnet sessions on remote machines in a secure way. It allows a smart device to establish a secure channel over an insecure network in a client-server architecture, connecting an SSH client application with an SSH server. There is no additional software for SSH on the device, but the host must be configured for SSH. When this option is selected, the Auto Login User and Auto Login Password fields appear and must be filled out, and the port field is changed to 22. In the Known Hosts dialog, enter the trusted keys for the server. This way, the user will not be required to enter or accept the key. It will be done automatically. An SSH tunnel consists of an encrypted tunnel created through an SSH protocol connection. An SSH tunnel can be used to transfer unencrypted traffic over a network through an encrypted channel. If you are using 5250 emulation with SSH, you must use SSH tunneling. When this option is selected, the Auto Login User, Auto Login Password, Tunnel Address, and Tunnel Port fields appear below, and the port field is changed to 22. The Secure Sockets Layer, SSL, is a computer networking protocol that manages server authentication, client authentication, and encrypted communication between servers and clients. There is no additional software for SSL on the device, but the host must be configured for SSL. When this option is selected, the port field is changed to 992. This option cannot be enabled if only Use Connect Pro Connections is selected. There are two types of Connect Pro servers. The version 3.x server, which is for legacy users of the old term proxy, and the Connect Pro 4.x server, which is the current version. The server type field is where the choice of Connect Pro server is made. If you check Only Use Connect Pro Connections above, you must enter a Connect Pro configuration. You will not be able to save your profile if this is not completed. In most cases, version 4.x will be selected. Next, the address field is the address of the host computer that has the Connect Pro server running. To prompt a device user for all or part of the address, use a variable delineated by the percentage sign. Variables can be used in DNS names or IP addresses. For example, 172.19.11.% store number%. The text that is inside the percent indicators is the information that appears in the prompt on the device. In the above example, the prompt on the device would ask the user for store number. If the user provides the store number of 111, the client attempts to connect to 172.19.11.111. The port field is the port that Connect Pro is listening on. Connect Pro defaults to listening on port 4430, so it is placed in this field by default. That being said, Connect Pro can listen on multiple ports, so the field is variable. The Terminate Connect Pro Session field indicates when the server should terminate the connection to the host. The possible values are: never. The proxy server never terminates the session established with the host. The client is responsible for manually terminating the session. On network error. The proxy server terminates the session with the host when a network error occurs, such as loss of network connectivity. On session exit. The proxy server terminates the session with the host when the session is terminated by the AllTouch TE client. By default, this option is selected. Always. The proxy server will terminate the session with the host on a network error or when the session is terminated. The Client Reconnects if unexpectedly disconnected field specifies if the AllTouch.TE client will attempt to reconnect if the session with the proxy server is lost and the client has not received a disconnect message from the proxy server. By default, this is set to yes. The Reconnect string specifies the reconnect string that the smart device should use when connecting to the host. Alternately, you may configure Reconnect strings in Connect Pro. Enables the ability for smart devices to scan barcodes. Once set to yes, the barcode MSR, basic data formatting, decoder settings, reader settings, scan settings, and UPC EAN settings tabs appear. These advanced settings allow you to configure the scanner for each host profile. Please refer to the Smart Device Manual to understand what these settings mean for each device. You have now completed the Configure Host Profiles module.